I've been married to Anna for 4 years. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. We lived in a quaint house in a suburban neighborhood, enjoying the comfort and predictability of our life together. I worked as a software developer, often immersing myself in projects that demanded long hours, while Anna managed a boutique downtown. Our routines rarely overlapped, but I never suspected that our lives were anything but happy. That illusion shattered on a seemingly ordinary Thursday. I arrived home earlier than expected, hoping to surprise Anna with a spontaneous date night. As I opened the front door, I was greeted by an unsettling scene. Unfamiliar clothes were scattered across the living room, leading a trail up to our bedroom. My heart raced as I followed the clues, the sounds from the bedroom confirming my worst fears. I stood frozen in the doorway, watching as my wife was entangled with another man. The shock numbed me, but anger quickly surged through my veins. I grabbed a cricket bat from the front closet, ready to confront them. But then, a moment of clarity struck. The potential consequences of my actions, violence, jail time, flashed before my eyes. I couldn't let this betrayal define the rest of my life. Instead, I took their clothes and left the house quietly. I drove aimlessly, my mind a whirlwind of emotions, until I found myself at a nearby park. In a fit of rage, I tossed their clothes into a trash can. Seeking solace, I went to my friend Greg's place. Greg and I had known each other since college, and he was someone I could always count on. That night, we drowned my sorrows in alcohol, trying to numb the pain of betrayal. The next morning, Greg's wife, Lisa, helped clean us up. When I finally turned my phone back on, I found it flooded with messages from Anna. Her texts ranged from concern over my unexpected arrival to sheer panic about the break-in. As the realization dawned on her that it was me, her messages became increasingly frantic and accusatory. Anna's affair partner, Robert, was a slight man, physically no match for me. He had called a friend to retrieve his spare keys from his house, but his wife, sensing something was wrong, followed him. She caught him sneaking around and took pictures, securing evidence that annulled their prenuptial agreement and cost him a lot of money. The fallout was dramatic, but amidst the chaos, Anna convinced me to try counseling. We gave it a shot, hoping to salvage what was left of our marriage. But during one session, Anna's true feelings surfaced. She accused me of causing Robert's divorce by stealing his wallet, phone, and car keys. Her words felt like a slap in the face. I had never admitted to taking his stuff, fearing legal repercussions and not wanting to give her leverage in case of a divorce. But now, her blame shifted the narrative, and I realized that her infidelity was the real issue, not my reaction. Despite our efforts, the trust was irrevocably broken. I moved into my apartment, seeking a fresh start away from the constant reminders of her betrayal. Anna's attempts to pin Robert's misfortunes on me only solidified my decision to end our marriage. Our home, once a sanctuary, had become a battlefield. I was ready to break free from the deceit and rebuild my life on my terms. As the days passed, I struggled to find normalcy. The counseling sessions with Anna had been a mix of blame games and unresolved emotions. One particular session stood out: Anna's vehement claim that I was responsible for Robert's financial downfall. Her words echoed in my mind, making me question every action I had taken since discovering her affair. Around this time, I reconnected with an old friend, Mike, who had always been a pillar of support. We met for coffee at a quaint cafe in downtown Harperville. As we sat by the window watching the world go by, I poured my heart out to him. Mike listened intently, his expression a mix of empathy and concern. "You did what you had to do," he said, finally breaking the silence. "She betrayed your trust and you reacted. It's natural. Don't let her make you feel guilty for her mistakes." His words were a balm to my wounded soul. For the first time in months, I felt understood. Mike's validation gave me the strength to push forward with the divorce. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I needed to reclaim my life. Meanwhile, Anna's behavior grew increasingly erratic. She oscillated between pleading for forgiveness and lashing out in anger. Her instability made me more resolute in my decision. Our home, once a sanctuary, had become a battlefield. One evening, as I packed my belongings into boxes, I stumbled upon an old photo album. Flipping through the pages, I saw the smiling faces of our early years, holidays, anniversaries, random candid moments. Each image was a stark contrast to the present turmoil. Tears welled up as I realized how far we had drifted. Amid this emotional storm, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Linda, Robert's ex-wife. Her tone was surprisingly calm. "I heard you're divorcing Anna," she said. "I just wanted to thank you. Your actions, though unintended, helped me see the truth. Robert's betrayal would have gone unnoticed, if not for you." Her words struck a chord. My actions had inadvertently set off a chain of events that exposed not just Anna's infidelity, but also Robert's deceit. It was a bittersweet realization, knowing that my pain had led to someone else's liberation. With renewed determination, I focused on finalizing the divorce. I consulted with my lawyer, who assured me that I had a strong case. As the legal proceedings began, I felt a mix of anxiety and relief. The end of my marriage was drawing near, and with it, the promise of a new beginning. During this turbulent time, I found myself questioning the decisions that had led me here. The realization that my life had taken such a drastic turn was overwhelming. I sought solace in activities that once brought me joy. Photography, a long-forgotten hobby, became my escape. I spent weekends capturing the beauty of nature, finding peace in the simplicity of a sunrise or the tranquility of a forest. My relationship with Anna remained strained, but I focused on maintaining civility for the sake of our mutual friends. We attended a mutual friend's wedding where the tension was palpable. Despite the awkwardness, I was determined to rise above the pettiness. I mingled, laughed, and danced, refusing to let her presence overshadow my joy. As the divorce settlement loomed closer, I found myself reflecting on the lessons learned from this ordeal. Trust, once shattered, is difficult to rebuild. But more importantly, I learned the value of self-respect and the importance of surrounding oneself with supportive, loving people. The final court date arrived, and as I stood before the judge, I felt a sense of closure. The chapter with Anna was ending, and a new one was beginning. The judge's gavel came down, and with it, a sense of liberation washed over me. As I walked out of the courtroom, the sun shone brightly, symbolizing the start of a new journey. I was ready to embrace the future, leaving behind the pain and betrayal of the past. The divorce proceedings were intense, each meeting a grueling test of my resolve. Anna's attempts to paint herself as the victim only fueled my determination. My lawyer, Sarah, was a fierce advocate, countering Anna's claims with solid evidence of her infidelity and manipulative behavior. During one particularly heated session, Anna's lawyer presented a series of messages, trying to prove that I had overreacted and that my actions were disproportionate. But Sarah was prepared. She calmly presented evidence of Anna's affair, detailing the emotional and psychological toll it had taken on me. The judge listened intently, his expression unreadable. Outside the courtroom, I often found solace in my routine. Work became a welcome distraction, and I threw myself into projects with renewed vigor. Colleagues noticed the change, offering words of encouragement and support. Their kindness was a lifeline, helping me navigate the turbulent waters of my personal life. As the divorce dragged on, I started attending a support group for people dealing with infidelity and separation. The group met every Tuesday evening in the basement of a local church. Sharing my story with strangers who had experienced similar betrayals was cathartic. Each session, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. One evening, after a particularly emotional session, I lingered behind to chat with our group leader, Jane. She was a therapist who had been running the group for years. Her calm demeanor and wise words were a source of comfort. "You're stronger than you think," she said, her eyes reflecting a lifetime of empathy. "It takes courage to face the truth and even more to act on it. You're on the right path." Her words resonated deeply. For so long, I had doubted my decisions and questioned my worth. But now I was beginning to see the strength within myself. Amid this self-discovery, I reconnected with old hobbies that had fallen by the wayside during my marriage. I joined a local hiking club, spending weekends exploring the scenic trails around Harperville. The fresh air and physical exertion were invigorating. a reminder of the beauty and freedom life still had to offer. My relationship with Anna remained strained, but I focused on maintaining civility for the sake of our mutual friends. We attended a mutual friend's wedding where the tension was palpable. Despite the awkwardness, I was determined to rise above the pettiness. I mingled, laughed, and danced, refusing to let her presence overshadow my joy. As the divorce settlement loomed closer, I found myself reflecting on the lessons learned from this ordeal. Trust, once shattered, is difficult to rebuild. But more importantly, I learned the value of self-respect and the importance of surrounding oneself with supportive, loving people. The final court date arrived, and as I stood before the judge, I felt a sense of closure. The chapter with Anna was ending and a new one was beginning. The judge's gavel came down, and with it, a sense of liberation washed over me. As I walked out of the courtroom, the sun shone brightly, symbolizing the start of a new journey. I was ready to embrace the future, leaving behind the pain and betrayal of the past. With the divorce finalized, I threw myself into new projects at work. I began to mentor younger colleagues, finding satisfaction in helping them navigate their careers. The office environment, once a source of stress, became a place of fulfillment. My productivity soared, and I earned recognition for my contributions to major projects. The sense of accomplishment bolstered my confidence. Outside of work, I continued to attend my support group, forging deep connections with the members. We started organizing social activities outside the regular meetings, dinners, movie nights, and even weekend getaways. These friendships became a cornerstone of my healing process. I found comfort in knowing I wasn't alone in my experiences, and together, we celebrated each other's progress. One particularly memorable trip was a weekend hiking expedition to the Blue Ridge Mountains. The fresh mountain air, the camaraderie, and the physical challenge were invigorating. As we sat around a campfire one evening, sharing stories and laughter, I felt a profound sense of belonging. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly at peace. During this period of personal growth, I also reconnected with my family. My parents had been a steady source of support, always ready with a listening ear or a comforting word. I spent more time with them, rediscovering the strength of familial bonds. My sister Emily, who lived out of state, visited frequently. We had long conversations about life, love, and the future. Her insights and encouragement were invaluable. One evening, after a family dinner, Emily pulled me aside. "You're doing great, Alex," she said, her eyes filled with pride. "I know it's been tough, but you've come out stronger. I'm proud of you." Her words stayed with me. They were a reminder of how far I had come and how much further I could go. I realized that my journey wasn't just about surviving the pain of betrayal, but about thriving despite it. Amid this transformation, I met someone new. Her name was Rachel, a fellow member of the hiking club. We had crossed paths several times on various trails, exchanging pleasantries but never really connecting. One day, during a particularly challenging hike, we found ourselves walking side by side. We talked about everything: our love for nature, our careers, our past relationships. There was an easy camaraderie between us, a mutual respect and understanding. As weeks turned into months, Rachel and I grew closer. Our hikes became more frequent, often followed by dinner or coffee. We discovered shared interests and enjoyed each other's company. Rachel was kind, intelligent, and had a gentle strength that I admired. She had her own story of heartache and resilience, which only deepened our bond. One evening, after a long hike, we sat on a hill overlooking the city. The sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over everything. Rachel turned to me, her eyes reflecting the colors of the sky. "Alex, I've enjoyed getting to know you. I feel like we rarely understand each other." I felt the same way. For the first time since my marriage ended, I felt a glimmer of hope for the future. Rachel and I continued to spend time together, letting our relationship evolve naturally. We supported each other, celebrated each other's successes, and comforted each other during tough times. Throughout this journey, I learned that healing isn't linear. There were days when the memories of betrayal resurfaced, bringing with them waves of anger and sadness. But I faced them head-on, leaning on my support system and reminding myself of the progress I had made. the scars of the past, didn't define me. They were simply a part of my story. As Rachel and I grew closer, we talked about our future together. We both approached the relationship with caution, mindful of our past wounds but hopeful for what lay ahead. Our shared experiences had taught us the value of trust and communication, and we built our relationship on these principles. Through it all, I never forgot the lessons I had learned: self-respect, the importance of supportive relationships, and the power of resilience became guiding principles in my life. I realized that while the past had shaped me, it didn't have to dictate my future. The divorce had been finalized, and my life was slowly getting back on track. My new relationship with Rachel was blossoming, and I found myself genuinely happy for the first time in a long while. However, the real test of my newfound strength and resilience was yet to come. It started with a phone call from Anna. I hadn't heard from her in months, and her voice brought back a flood of memories. "Alex, I need to talk to you," she said, her tone urgent yet hesitant. "Can we meet?" Reluctantly, I agreed. We decided to meet at a neutral place, a quiet cafe in the city. As I walked in, I saw her sitting at a corner table, looking more fragile than I remembered. The once confident woman seemed to have been replaced by someone carrying a heavy burden. "Thank you for meeting me," she began, her eyes avoiding mine. "I know I have no right to ask you for anything, but I need your help." Her words took me by surprise. Help? After everything that had happened? I took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "What's going on, Anna?" She explained that Robert's divorce had taken a significant toll on her. His ex-wife had sued him for everything, leaving him financially crippled. In turn, Robert had turned his anger towards Anna, blaming her for his misfortune. The relationship that had once seemed so thrilling to her was now a source of constant stress and fear. "I know I messed up," she admitted, tears welling in her eyes. "But I'm scared, Alex. He's become violent and I don't know where else to turn." The weight of her words hit me hard. Despite everything, I couldn't ignore someone in need. "Have you gone to the police?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Yes, but they said there's not much they can do without more evidence," she replied, desperation in her voice. "I just need a place to stay for a few days until I can figure something out." My instinct was to say no, to protect myself from the chaos she brought into my life. But a part of me, the part that once loved her, couldn't turn her away. "You can stay at my old apartment," I offered. "I'm not using it anymore. But this is temporary, Anna. You need to find a more permanent solution." She nodded, gratitude and relief washing over her face. "Thank you, Alex. I promise I won't be a burden." As I handed her the keys to the apartment, I felt a strange mix of emotions. I was helping her out of a sense of duty, not love. The person I once knew was gone, replaced by someone broken and lost. Rachel was supportive when I told her about the situation. "You're doing the right thing," she said, her hand comforting on mine. "But don't let her pull you back into her drama. Remember why you moved on." Her words were a reminder of my journey and the progress I had made. Over the next few days, Anna stayed at the apartment, and I helped her get in touch with a local shelter that could offer her long-term support. She thanked me profusely, but I kept my distance, wary of getting too involved. One evening, I received a frantic call from Anna. "Alex, he's here!" she whispered, terror evident in her voice. "Robert found me! Please help me!" Without thinking, I drove to the apartment. As I arrived, I saw Robert pounding on the door, shouting obscenities. My heart raced, but I knew I had to intervene. "Robert, leave her alone!" I shouted, drawing his attention. He turned towards me, rage contorting his face. "This is your fault!" he screamed. "You ruined everything!" Before I could react, he lunged at me. We struggled, the confined space of the hallway making it difficult to move. My instincts kicked in, and I fought back with everything I had. The noise attracted the attention of neighbors, and someone called the police. By the time the officers arrived, Robert was subdued, and I was left with a few bruises and a deep sense of exhaustion. Anna was shaken but unharmed. The police took Robert away, and Anna was finally safe, at least for the moment. In the aftermath, I realized how close I had come to getting dragged back into a toxic situation. I had helped Anna because it was the right thing to do, but it reinforced the boundaries I needed to maintain. Rachel's support and understanding were invaluable during this time. She reminded me of the importance of self-care and the strength it took to protect my well-being. As I reflected on the events, I saw them as the climax of my journey. It was a test of my resilience and the progress I had made. I had faced my past, confronted the remnants of my old life, and emerged stronger. The encounter with Robert was a stark reminder of why I had chosen to move on and rebuild my life. Rachel and I continued to grow closer, our bond deepening with each shared experience. We talked openly about our fears, our dreams, and our future. Our relationship was built on a foundation of trust and mutual respect, and it flourished in the aftermath of the turmoil. Through it all, I never forgot the lessons I had learned. Self-respect, the importance of supportive relationships, and the power of resilience became guiding principles in my life. I realized that while the past had shaped me, it didn't have to dictate my future. The climax of my story wasn't just about a dramatic confrontation. It was about reaffirming my strength and the choices I had made to protect my happiness. It was about recognizing my worth and continuing to move forward despite the challenges. In the weeks following the confrontation with Robert, life began to settle into a more predictable rhythm. The turbulence that had defined my recent past was gradually giving way to a sense of calm and stability. Rachel and I grew even closer, finding solace and joy in each other's company. The bonds I had formed with my support group deepened, providing a strong network of friends who understood the unique challenges of overcoming betrayal. Anna had moved into a more secure location provided by a local shelter, and while we no longer had direct contact, I heard through mutual friends that she was receiving the help she needed to rebuild her life. Knowing that she was safe and away from Robert gave me a sense of closure. It allowed me to focus on my path forward without the lingering shadows of our past. At work, I continued to excel, my renewed focus and determination driving me to achieve new heights. The company recognized my efforts, and I was promoted to a leadership role within my department. This new position brought with it new challenges, but I embraced them with confidence. My colleagues noticed the transformation, often commenting on the positive energy I brought to the team. One day, while sorting through some old files, I stumbled upon a folder filled with notes from my early days with Anna. Letters, photos, mementos of our time together before things went wrong. For a moment, I was tempted to dive into the memories, to revisit the emotions captured in those pieces of paper. But then, I remembered how far I had come and the person I had become. I decided to let go of those tangible remnants of the past, recognizing that they no longer defined my present or future. Rachel and I planned a trip to the coast, a getaway to celebrate our new chapter together. The anticipation of our journey filled me with excitement. It was a chance to create new memories, to solidify our bond away from the daily grind. The days leading up to the trip were filled with laughter and planning, a stark contrast to the tension and uncertainty that had once clouded my life. The trip itself was everything I had hoped for and more. We explored the scenic coastline, hiked through lush trails, and enjoyed quiet evenings by the fire, talking about everything and nothing. Rachel's presence was a soothing balm, her laughter a melody that lifted my spirits. On the last night of our trip, as we watched the sunset over the ocean, I realized just how much my life had transformed. Back home, the routines we established became the foundation of our life together. We continued our weekend hikes, now joined by friends from the hiking club. These outings were not just about physical activity, but about community and connection. Each step forward on those trails mirrored my journey of healing and growth. The support group remained a vital part of my life. We organized events to support others going through similar experiences, offering a safe space for them to share their stories and find comfort. One evening, Jane, our group leader, approached me with an idea. "Alex, you've come so far and have so much to offer. Would you consider co-leading the group with me?" Her proposal took me by surprise, but it also filled me with a sense of purpose. I had been through the fire and emerged stronger. Now, I had the opportunity to help others find their way through the darkness. I agreed, and together Jane and I worked to expand the group's reach, creating programs and resources that could make a real difference in people's lives. Taking on this new role was deeply fulfilling. It allowed me to channel my experiences into something positive, to turn my pain into a source of strength for others. I met people at different stages of their journey, each story a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Guiding them, offering support, and witnessing their progress was a powerful reminder of how far I had come. Rachel's unwavering support was a constant source of strength. We navigated the ups and downs of life together, always communicating openly and honestly. Our relationship was not without its challenges, but we faced them as a team, each obstacle strengthening our bond. We dreamed of a future together, built on a solid foundation of trust and mutual respect. One weekend, while hiking a particularly challenging trail, Rachel paused and turned to me. "Alex, I know we've both been through a lot, but I believe in us. I believe in our future together." Her words echoed my feelings. "I do too, Rachel. I've never been more sure of anything in my life." At that moment, I realized that my journey was no longer just about healing from the past. It was about building a future filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. The pain and betrayal I had endured were part of my story, but they did not define me. I had found strength in vulnerability, growth in adversity, and love in the most unexpected places. As Rachel and I continued our hike, the path ahead seemed clear and inviting. Each step forward was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. I knew that challenges would come, but I also knew that together, we could face anything. My life, once defined by heartbreak and betrayal, had transformed into a journey of rediscovery and strength. The falling action of my story was not a descent, but an ascent, a climb towards a future bright with promise and possibility. With Rachel by my side and a community of support behind me, I embraced the road ahead, ready to face whatever came our way. The falling action had been a time of healing and rediscovery, but the resolution was where I truly began to understand the full extent of my transformation. Life had come full circle, bringing me to a place of peace and fulfillment I had once thought impossible. Rachel and I continued to build our life together, each day strengthening our bond. We moved into a new apartment in a vibrant part of the city, a place that symbolized our fresh start. The space was filled with light and laughter, decorated with mementos from our adventures and reminders of the journey we had taken together. My role in the support group flourished. Co-leading the group with Jane was both challenging and rewarding. I poured my heart into helping others navigate their paths to healing, drawing from my experiences to offer empathy and guidance. The connections I made with group members were profound, each story a testament to the resilience and strength of the human spirit. One evening, after a particularly moving group session, Jane approached me with a proposal. "Alex, I've been thinking, how would you feel about expanding our support group into a nonprofit organization? We could reach so many more people and provide even more resources." The idea resonated deeply with me. Turning our support group into a nonprofit would be a way to give back on an even larger scale, to create a legacy of hope and healing. "I think it's a great idea, Jane. Let's do it." We began the process of establishing the nonprofit, working tirelessly to secure funding, develop programs, and build a team of dedicated volunteers. The project consumed much of my time and energy, but it was a labor of love. The impact we were able to make in the lives of those who sought our help was immeasurable. Amid these endeavors, Rachel and I took another significant step in our relationship. One evening, as we sat on our balcony watching the city lights, she turned to me with a look of anticipation. "Alex, there's something I've been wanting to ask you." My heart skipped a beat. "What is it, Rachel?" She took a deep breath. "Would you consider starting a family with me? I know it's a big step, but I can't imagine my future without you." Her question was both unexpected and deeply touching. I realized that despite the pain of my past, I had found someone who loved and respected me for who I was. The idea of building a family with Rachel filled me with a sense of joy and purpose. "I'd love that, Rachel. Let's build our future together." We began planning our future with excitement and hope. We discussed our dreams and aspirations, from starting a family to continuing our work with the nonprofit. Our relationship had weathered many storms, and we were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. As the months passed, the nonprofit grew beyond our expectations. We hosted workshops, retreats, and community events, all aimed at helping individuals heal from the wounds of betrayal and find their path to recovery. The stories of transformation and resilience that emerged from these efforts were inspiring, each one a reminder of the power of hope and support. Rachel and I also found time for ourselves, ensuring that our relationship remained strong and vibrant. We continued our hikes, explored new hobbies, and traveled to places we had always wanted to visit. Each new experience brought us closer, deepening our bond and reinforcing our commitment to each other. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace in a cozy mountain cabin, Rachel turned to me with a smile. "Alex, do you remember the first time we hiked together? I never imagined we'd come this far." I nodded, my heart full. It feels like a lifetime ago. We've been through so much, and yet, here we are, stronger than ever. Her eyes sparkled with love and gratitude. "I'm so grateful for you, Alex. You've changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe." Her words touched me deeply. "And you've changed mine, Rachel. I wouldn't be who I am today without you." As we sat there, wrapped in each other's embrace, I realized that my journey had come to a beautiful resolution. The pain and betrayal of the past had given way to a life filled with love, purpose, and endless possibilities. Rachel and I had built something extraordinary together, a testament to the power of resilience and the beauty of second chances. In the years that followed, our family grew, our nonprofit thrived, and our love deepened. We faced challenges, as all couples do, but we tackled them together with unwavering support and understanding. The lessons of my past remained with me, guiding me to cherish and nurture the life we had created. The resolution of my story wasn't just an end, it was a beginning. It was the culmination of a journey from heartbreak to healing, from betrayal to trust, from despair to hope. My life, once defined by pain, had been transformed into a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of love. As I looked back on the path I had traveled, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. The challenges had shaped me, the support had lifted me, and the love had healed me. The future was bright, and I was ready to embrace it, hand in hand with the woman who had walked beside me through it all. Together, Rachel and I continued to build our legacy of hope, helping others find their paths to healing and happiness. My story was one of resilience and redemption, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a way forward. As we moved into the future, I carried with me the lessons and love that had brought me to this place of peace and fulfillment.